In the Know for Thursday, July 20, the 201st day of 2023. There are 164 days left in the year. Good morning, MB. Guiding you through In the Know at K105. On Litchfield's Country Station, 1039 The Moose, live online at K105.com, via the Apple and Android smartphone app using the SoundCloud, iTunes, or Spotify podcast, on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitter, and the hashtag is In the Know. Coming up today, we'll update you on the latest news headlines from around the community, the county, the Commonwealth, and the country. Kim Phelps from Warren RECC will be here to tell you about their annual meeting today. And we will also give you a chance to win later on in the program. That and a whole lot more coming up today here on In the Know. Settling into my left, rolling Mach 9 with her hair on fire, is my beautiful wife, the beautiful girl. It's Beach. Good morning, sweetheart.
Good morning.
How you doing?
I'm okay.
Ready for a Thursday?
Yeah,
Ready
sure.
for another round of rain?
No.
No, you're not ready for another round
Not
of
really.
rain. You're okay with the milder temperatures, though, aren't you?
Oh, yeah.
I thought you probably were. Yesterday, when Whitney was here, we had a list of things that people think that are the same, but they're really different.
Okay.
And I think people enjoyed that, and so I got provided another list, and I wanted to run a couple of those by you before we get into the forecast, okay?
Okay.
Pool and billiards.
Okay.
People think that pool, like you go to a pool hall or billiards, they are not the same. So it's primarily the number of balls used on the table. But you got 8 ball, you play 9 ball, I don't know. So they're not
Okay.
exactly the same. Apparently there's a difference between soap and detergent.
Okay.
Yeah, but I think we commonly interchange them and go, oh, you give me some soap. Oh, you some detergent? No, some soap. Well, they're the same thing to me. Bugs and insects are different.
Yes.
All bugs are insects, but not all insects are bugs.
Yes.
There's a difference. We here in the rural portions of the area of the world know that there's a difference between straw and hay.
Yes.
Yes, yes, we especially know that. There's a difference between seltzer and tonic water.
Okay.
There's a difference between mint and peppermint.
Okay.
There's a difference between cement and concrete. Mm-hmm. So, but those are things that are very similar, and people think,
And
well,
interchangeable, yeah.
they're all the same thing, but they have
Interchangeable.
technical differences that make them different. You probably saw some cloudy skies earlier this morning if you were up and out. And then now we've seen some partial clearing, and that will happen for the middle portions of the day. And then we'll get another chance for some more rain possible this afternoon and in the evening. There's a potential regionally for some damaging winds, hail, flash flooding are possible with today's storms. We're going to see quiet, cooler weather into the weekend. But for today, a high of 88. Thunderstorms early tonight, a low of 70. Mostly cloudy tomorrow is what you can expect. Now, 24 hours ago, we were just starting to learn the real damage that Graves County, Mayfield, and some of the other communities in that general area of the state down around Wingo. I saw some very dramatic footage from Wingo. But in a community like Mayfield that just got walloped by a tornado approaching 2 years ago, and they're just still trying to recover, and now they're in all kinds of flood water. In fact, I think it was in Graves County specific, they set a Kentucky record for most rain in a single 24-hour period. When I first heard that stat, I thought, well, you got somebody out in the backyard that's measuring how much rain they got, and it could be different, et cetera. But no, the Kentucky Mesonet measured nearly 11 inches of rain in one 24-hour period down in western Kentucky. The governor has proclaimed a state of emergency down there. Fortunately, there are no known fatalities, at least as of yesterday, that were reported to state government. There are power outages for about 7,000 customers. Now, the difference is we're no stranger to power outages in our region, so we kind of know what that is like. But the difference between when you get that much rain into a flat area, there's less elevation change in creeks and hollers and things for things to be. I'm not saying there's not damage. That's not what I mean. But because of the flat nature of that portion of the state, the water just sort of rises and it's swift moving, but it's not as dangerous, which I think probably protected lives as compared to the eastern Kentucky flooding when it's running off the mountains and the hillsides and it just picks up steam and it's very damaging. So we pray that they will recover quickly down that portion of the state, and we'll be keeping an eye on them down in the Mayfield community. As I always refer to Graves County, they are our alphabetical neighbor in the state lineup. Grayson and Graves adjacent to one another in the county lineup. So that's good. Yeah, I was reading Wingo, Paducah is an area, and then throughout the Northeast, North Carolina had a rough day yesterday weather-wise. So there you go. I don't really have a full story on it, but I know the last 24 hours, a lot of the discussion has been about Jason Aldean and his new single that is drawing criticism from some people and drawing support from other people. And so you'll continue to hear about it in the days that are coming up. I just kind of want to say the name of the song is Try That in a Small Town, basically saying that in small town America we do things a little bit differently. And the song's been out for months. But when the video came out is when the depictions of the video footage, et cetera, is when it got the attention of some people. So I would just offer this. When we start censoring art, right, we're in a dangerous place in our nation. Art and artists have always been provocative all the way back through time. And so, the market will decide whether this song has a place in the landscape of country music, music in general, etc. I would also just offer, if for those that would be critical of Jason Aldean's song, that would be talking about the way things are in rural America. If you want to go start canceling music or censoring music, there's a whole bunch of music on the other side of the equation that promotes violence or violence against police officers or violence against women, etc. So it's a real slippery slope when you decide to start deciding who can listen to what and when, etc. So that'll be an ongoing debate. By the way, I would like to say I am no huge fan of Jason Aldean. I do love his two duets that he's done, one with Kelly Clarkson, one with Carrie Underwood. But so I'm not rushing to Jason Aldean's defense by any stretch of the imagination just because I like him. But I think that
well, and I am completely ignorant when it comes to it because I will never listen to.
I got it. The song is, other than a little profanity in the song, it's not a bad song, and really it's got a very factual message. It's just a message that people don't necessarily want to hear, and it's another example of messenger shooting, which too often happens in our society these days. All right, some other headlines here at home. A Hardin County woman is pleading not guilty to over 35 counts of animal torture. Last month, 26-year-old Morgan Jade Barrick was arrested after being indicted on felony counts of torture of a dog or cat with serious physical injury or death. 19 of the dead dogs were found inside her home. 2 were in a van that was registered to her. Several carcasses were also found, so a terrible depiction of what was happening there. She will return to court on August 29 for a pretrial conference.
That's terrible.
This time yesterday, we were just learning that Daniel Cameron was naming Senator Robbie Mills as his running mate in November. So learning a little bit more about Robbie over the last 24 hours. He represents the Henderson area. He's got Henderson, Union, and Webster counties, I think. Been in the Senate for a while. He was an architect of one of the major architects of the new trans bill, the new trans-related bill in Washington, in Frankfurt over the previous session. He was called pro-coal, pro-gun, and he's a conservative, et cetera. So that will... Interesting. Weird how we do it in Kentucky compared to how maybe it's done federally at the vice president and president role. So gubernatorial candidates can file without having to name a running mate until within a certain number of days of the general election. And we have been waiting for a while to see what Daniel Cameron was going to choose. We also know this week that Jacqueline Coleman, our current lieutenant governor, went to Frankfurt and officially filed her paperwork for re-election. So that planted the question with me this morning: if the lieutenant gubernatorial candidates have to go and file themselves, is anyone open to file? Like,
Maybe.
Because if it's not a joint filing where Bashir and Coleman go together and say, we're this ticket, and Cameron and Mills go together and say, which Cameron Mills is still making me laugh because, we know Cameron Mills. So does that leave the door open that if somebody just wanted to walk in and say, I want to be Daniel Cameron's running mate, I'm filing, what does that do? I don't know. I don't know how that.
Maybe somebody should try it.
I don't know how that works. I say we send Yukon Cornelius to run and see how far he may get. Overall serious crime rates fell across Kentucky in 2022 with a double-digit decline in reports of homicides, robberies, and drug offenses. A new law enforcement report is out as of yesterday. Among 23 categories deemed as serious or violent crimes, overall reports of offenses decreased by nearly 10% in 2022 compared to the prior year, while arrests declined 6.2%. Arrests fell in 16 categories, while reported crimes declined in 18 categories. There were a couple of places where there were some jumps, and oddly enough, just our previous story, earlier story, dealt with animal cruelty. Animal cruelty is one category that saw an increase in both reports and arrests. And so the governor was also at this press conference talking that Louisville still continues to be the most troubling area relative to crime rates in the state. There are declines most everywhere else across the state, but not in Louisville in particular, where they've had a very tumultuous, obviously, last few years, and they are getting a new police chief as of today. There's a press conference at 11:30 Central Time when Mayor Craig Greenberg is going to name the next chief of the LMPD. So we'll find out a little bit more about that. I also think that this crime survey prompted me to think there is a distinct difference between safety and perceived safety. Like, being safe is one thing, but knowing you're safe and believing you're safe is completely something different. And it's nice to have. So these reports help bear out. Headlines would lead us to believe crime is worsening, it's getting worse. We hear on the national news about all the gun violence and everything is related to a gun, et cetera, when the overwhelming majority of those gun-related deaths are suicides, unfortunately. But you do need to study the data a little bit further. But the idea when you hear that crimes being reported and crimes and arrests being made are actually declining, most places in Kentucky should be comforting, and give you a perception of being safe. The SEC is having their media football days in Nashville the last couple of days. The UK contingent had a bit of a bumpy flight into Nashville. They said as they got closer to Nashville, got a little bumpy, a couple of jumps, but smoothed out, landed safely. And they are talking about the upcoming season. Mark Stoops' squad, Liam Cohen returning to Lexington, so should be an exciting season ahead, with the Cats getting back to who they were, according to Mark Stoops. Kentucky Derby winner Mage is returning for the $1 million Haskell at Monmouth Park. Mage hasn't run since the Derby, and now is going to run again at Monmouth Park on Saturday in a $1 million race. And then the Open, or what we Yanks call the British Open, is underway, currently being led by Fleetwood, and then an amateur with the last name of Lamprecht are tied at 5 under. And they're in the clubhouse, by the way. They're finished for the day. So you still got some golfers on the course. So people will be watching that a lot over the next few days. But the co-leaders are at 5 under at the Open. All right, there are your headlines. We got to get to a break. We're going to come back. Warren RECC is having their annual meeting today. Looks a little different than maybe it did 5 or 6 years ago. We're going to tell you how and why you should participate. Kim Phelps is here. We'll talk to her coming up here on In the Know.
Owensboro Health offers excellent care for your entire family. Close to home in Grayson County with locations in Litchfield, Big Clifty, and Caneyville. Our primary care providers are experts in managing high blood pressure, diabetes, and other chronic conditions, so you can stay healthy and feel your best. Make an appointment today with one of our primary care providers at owensborohealth.org/primary care.
Beach Bend Park. That's where my summer happens.
It's where my family's come for generations for great times.
It's where amusement rides and water park slides are just my size.
It's where my friends and I have a blast on the big thrill rides.
It's where we can do all the attractions and not spend time in long lines.
Beach Bend Park has something for everyone, from classic amusement attractions the whole family can enjoy, children's rides, to big, fast, sky-reaching thrill rides. Plus, cool off with Splash Lagoon Water Park, where you can relax in the lazy river, ride the waves, and take the plunge on slides from mile to wild. Come to Beach Bend Park to create some memories, including fireworks, back for Friday Night Lights in July. It's where you can have unlimited thrills with a 2023 season pass for just $74.99 with unlimited visits, a free souvenir cup, 2 anytime bring a friend free tickets, discounts, and more. For daily specials, birthday parties, and hours, visit beachbend.com.
Beach Bend Park. Fun for the whole family. Beach Bend Park.
Take your remodeling project to the next level and transform an ordinary space into an extraordinary one with Masonite doors and atrium windows from Future Designs. With Masonite and Atrium, you get countless design options that give you unmatched flexibility, energy-efficient glass choices, hardware, and more. So don't just remodel, transform with Masonite doors and atrium windows built around you. Start your transformation at Future Designs Building Materials on Quarry Road in Litchfield. FDBM.net.
You may have heard about upcoming changes to Kentucky Medicaid. There's no need to worry. We're here to help. Please make sure to check your Connect account. Available by accessing connect.ky.gov at kynect.ky.gov. The process is simple. Log on and update any information that might have changed since you enrolled. Your address, phone number, and email. That way, when we need to contact you, we can. You can also visit medicaidunwinding.ky.gov for details or call 855-459-6328.
Down, set, 8-1-1-8-1-1.
The best football teams always get the call right, and you need to make the right call before you excavate. If you don't and you damage a natural gas line, the Kentucky Public Service Commission will investigate, and you could be fined up to $1,250. So make the right call. Put safety first. Call 811 before you dig.
Touchdown! Oh my goodness!
This message brought to you by the Kentucky Public Service Commission.
Netflix has recently added nearly 6 million paid subscribers amid its crackdown on password sharing. Brian Shook has a story.
The streaming giant said Wednesday that those numbers came during the 3 months ending in June. It now has more than 238 million paid subscribers globally. Netflix began its broad rollout of paid sharing earlier this year in an effort to get users to stop sharing accounts with others for free. Meantime, the company is also cutting its least expensive ads-free plan for new members in the U.S. and U.K.
NVIDIA is considering acquiring Lambda Labs. The San Francisco-based cloud service startup would reportedly receive $300 million in a deal that would value the company at more than $1 billion. Lambda uses NVIDIA chips. And Google is restricting internet access for some of its employees. It's an effort to reduce the risk of cyber attacks. The company originally selected 2,500 employees to participate, but then opened it up to volunteers. Tech Report, Mark Mayfield.
Today is Moon Day. It's the anniversary of the moon landing. Today is also Lollipop Day. It's Ugly Truck Day. It's Nap Day. It's also the day we say good morning and welcome back to Kim Phelps from Warren RECC. Good morning. Welcome. Oh, wait a minute. You're over there on that one. Sorry. Good morning. Good to see you.
Good to see you.
No nap for you today.
When you said that, I thought, man, I'm going to miss out.
Not going to squeeze in a nap today, I don't think, by any stretch of the imagination. Welcome back. It's good to see you again. I know it's a busy day, so we are grateful that you're taking time out of your day to visit with us here in Litchfield, where it's annual meeting day, and we'll get to that in just a moment. Mm-hmm. We're constantly bringing new people under the tent here around the program, and there are constantly new people who are reaching adulthood and having to know what Warren RECC is. Warren Rural Electric Cooperative Corporation?
Correct.
Yeah. So
very nice.
I think a lot of people would say, what's a cooperative? What is a cooperative?
What is a cooperative? A cooperative is owned by their members. So we do not, there's not a big board, there's not stockholders somewhere else. Warren RECC was created by people who wanted electricity in their houses, and they couldn't be served by big electric companies, so they got together and formed an electric company themselves, and they took advantage of a federal legislation that was doing some actually I think it was no interest loans at that time. So Warren RECC is owned by their members, and that's the importance of the annual meeting. Every year we get together, everybody has a vote to elect their board of directors who then oversee the electric company.
There's one representative from each county territory?
Yes, there are seven territories.
Okay. So the territories are Grayson, Butler, Warren.
Butler in Ohio is one.
Butler, Ohio is one unit. Okay. And then you got Simpson and Allen. Simpson is in there?
Simpson is in there, a little piece of Logan, Edmondson,
okay.
Butler,
all right.
Warren.
Oh, okay. So we'll talk about the board and the votes in just a moment. But I did think this morning when I wrote down, what is a co-op? Because I think a lot of people wouldn't necessarily know what that means. Do you know the youngest person, the age of the youngest person that has ever said to you, do you work for REA? Right. That you run into people in our community that will say, I got to run over to REA, which shows you that's been a while ago.
That's been a while.
They've lived a lot of life when that happened. You all have had much of the other utilities that serve Kentucky have as well. Had a rough last 6 months or so. It seemed like this is the windiest year that I can remember. Seemed you're constantly chasing wind damage and storm damage. How taxing is that to you as a company?
Well, it's certainly a lot of work, but it's what we do. That's our job, so we're happy to do it. We have in the last couple of months for the March storm and these June storms, we have had a lot of help come in. So we've had people. I think in March we had about 55 crews, and in June we had about 45 crews. So we've had a lot of help from all over the state and all over the country, in fact. So it is a lot of work, but it is something that we're prepared to do. That's our job, so we do it.
You have severe thunderstorms that come through, and then you have what I call tornadic activity, which usually takes a path. But this most recent storm seemed to be a super powerful thunderstorm that was wide and just kind of blunt force traumaed areas that I think made it outside your typical storm damage response.
Right, and I think and I've explained that to a lot of people. The tornado was terrible. The 21 tornado was terrible, but it went, it's a specific line. These windstorms they've come through the whole service territory, widespread. In fact, in March, 60% of our members were out.
6 in 10 in the month of March. Wow, it's hard to believe. We are also coming out of a season of life that impacted everyone, including utilities and co-ops, and that being the COVID season. I often suggest that COVID gave opportunities to organizations and society. It forced them to do things differently in a different way, think of things through a different prism. And in ways it gave some opportunities for organizations to do things they wanted to do and blame it on COVID. But there are other things that provided opportunity or proof of concept and went, hey, we can do it this way. COVID completely reinvented the way you all approach your annual meeting.
Yes.
And so kind of explain the differences of how it used to be compared to how it is now.
Well, the way it used to be, you would come mostly to Bowling Green in the evening. I think it started about 6 o'clock. And we had a big meeting. We had sort of I'd call it a fair, if you will. We had events for the kids, things for the kids to do. We had booths to go to. Then we did have our traditional business meeting, and then generally we had some sort of entertainment, a concert or something like that.
Don't forget ice cream.
And ice cream.
Yeah, ice cream, of course.
Absolutely. And, hot dogs, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
During COVID, we couldn't do that. Obviously, we couldn't gather everybody together. So what we started doing was having a drive-through. A lot of co-ops did the same thing at each one of our offices, and then doing our business meeting a little bit smaller. What we found was that because we had something at every office, it was really a great thing for the members because they didn't have to come to Bowling Green to cast their vote and register and get their gift. I forgot to mention that you get a gift, and we have drawings for
There may be light
door
bulbs involved
prizes.
as well.
There are light
There
bulbs
could be a
involved.
bucket involved. I don't know.
So we thought it was, so we've continued it on because having something at every office allows us to get out and see more members. People are able to stop by and say hello that maybe we didn't get to see when they had to come all the way to Bowling Green. So it's turned out to be a blessing in disguise.
You have several simultaneous micro events instead of one big centralized event.
That's right.
So it's turned into a huge amount of efficiency for members. My guess is I've only been to one annual meeting when it was when it was centralized. That was several years ago, but I see a huge amount of convenience for me. But now, are there pitfalls involved? Are there things you all look at and you go, in the old days we had a chance to do and we're not able. Is there anything you're missing from the old centralized meeting?
I really don't think there is. I do think that there are people that miss coming and sitting in the gym. We used to do it at South Warren High School a lot, so I'll use that as an example. Sit in the gym or the cafeteria at South Warren and catch up over a hot dog. So we do miss that, and it was fun. I'm not going to lie. It was a fun day. We had a really good time. But we also get to have that little bit of camaraderie when people come through the drive-thru, and we get to see more people because we're able to visit with everybody in all of our different areas instead of just one centralized area.
So I know we're reaching people right now. We've got people that are served out of your Edmonson County operation. Obviously, you've got Grayson Countyans here. You got Butler Countyans here that we're reaching. I know where the Grayson County office is, and I know where the drive-thru is, and I know how to do that. But explain that address, and then also mention where's the location in Brownsville and in Morgantown.
Here in Litchfield, it's 104 Electric Avenue.
We got to rock down to Electric Avenue, and then we
yes.
take it higher.
Yes.
Yeah, I got it.
So that's
okay.
here. Morgantown is Tyler Street. It's the Warren RECC office. We'll have a tent up. We'll have the grill going. We have some snacks if you get there before lunchtime. And then Brownsville, a lot of times they'll come here to the Litchfield office. Pretty much you can go to any of them. If you are a member that's not in a county that has a district office, you can go to any of them. If you want to drive to Bowling Green, you're more than welcome. We'd love to see you, but you don't have to.
Okay. And if you want to be part of the voting process, do you need to know your account number, or is that how that works?
Yes, we'd love to have your account number. Bring a driver's license with you. Sometimes we can look them up that way. That's easier. But this year, just FYI for everyone, we do not have an election this year. So you are registering, and you'll get your bucket and bulbs. And just a little note, at every single office, for every 100 people that come through, we'll give away a $250 bill credit.
Ooh.
So if 100 people come through, we'll pull one name. And so if 200 people come through, we'll pull two names and on and on. So it's worth a shot.
Oh, yeah. It definitely sounds like worth a shot. Everybody loves a bill credit, without
Absolutely.
a doubt. And I was going to ask you, I knew that of your board, it's typically staggered where you have elections in some counties and you don't, so that you don't have a completely new board all the time, or your members rotate on and off, but no contested elections in any area of the
Correct.
co-op? Okay.
This year would be, we have two that'll start new terms on August 1st.
Gotcha. Okay. And then you may have mentioned it. If you did, I'm sorry that I missed on it, is that what you all have done to replace the socializing and the entertainment is you've been doing an event in the evening online. Are
Yes.
you still doing that?
Yes, online at 6 o'clock at WRECC.com. The business meeting that used to be in person, it's absolutely the same agenda, the same business meeting. So you'll get to meet our board. The board will be introduced. You'll get to meet our CEO. He'll give a little bit of an update. Kentucky Electric Cooperatives, which is our statewide, they'll give a statewide update, cooperative update, and then TVA will be there to give a little Tennessee Valley Authority update.
I kind of latched on to what you were talking about, how the federal legislation that formed the TVA that then created, I mentioned older people say REA, and then you had your NRECCs and your WRECCs and your individual cooperatives. just watching the evolution of those organizations has been interesting, because I guess maybe 15 years ago, as an organization, you all might not have ever thought you were an internet provider, but through your partnership with NCTC, you are, and you're improving lives in ways that maybe, I mean, obviously electricity is important, but the internet can take you pretty much anywhere around the globe. And so you've got new partnerships and new innovation that you're involved in now.
Absolutely. And we think of that as a cooperative. It's something that's important to our members. You know, just as electricity was something that was important to our members and they couldn't get electric service in the rural areas, people have trouble getting broadband service in the rural areas. And so we have partnered with another cooperative, NCTC. They are out of Lafayette, Tennessee, and they are helping us reach rural broadband members in our rural areas.
It has been so exciting for me. I know that the seeds that were planted, and by who, it was county government, it was the Health Foundation,
Yes.
it was Owensboro Health and their involvement in coming in, et cetera, et cetera. There were many stakeholders, but it has been so wonderful to watch this partnership, this broadband, this Fiber for Grayson initiative, to watch the seeds get planted, to watch it sprout. And then I get to see the feedback from people. You know, when it's mentioned, I get to see the comments that say, complete game changer, right? Like I was dead in the water with internet before, and now it's as I think of it and it's already on my screen. And so you all have to feel proud about what you've done.
We're very proud, and we're very thankful for those community partnerships. That is something that is key to what we're doing, is having the Health Foundation, the fiscal courts, all of those local entities pulling together. It's truly the cooperative spirit, and I'm so glad to hear that everyone is very happy with the service. We picked NCTC. We wanted another cooperative because that model is important to us, and we've really been very happy with them.
Well, I checked your map recently. Your build out in Grayson County continues. Your initial deployment strategy in phases is still underway. So every day there are new people that are getting real broadband that have never had it before. And that's exciting for me. And I'm sure you're also continuing to innovate, look for future opportunities and things. I don't think you're happy where you are. I would imagine you're continuing to grow.
We continue to look for opportunities to expand. And if you haven't been to our website lately, we have updated the maps. So there are new maps, new plans up there. So go check it out. And if you haven't registered to let us know you want it, please do that. fiberforgrayson.com.
Even if you weren't able to get it 6 months ago, still go through and put that you're interested, because that's how they know where the demand is for moving there. But today is annual meeting day.
Today is annual meeting.
And it's sort of, if you're an old timer, you think, well, Warren RECC is on Lee Avenue. Well, it's behind Lee Avenue now,
Right.
on Electric Avenue. You'll see the big building there. It's a beautiful new modern building. You drive through there, make yourself part of the co-op, she ruined the surprise. She said it's a bucket and bulbs. I would have never guessed that's what it was. But get to meet your co-op and then participate. But it's underway right now.
It is underway.
All right. Well, it's good to see you as always.
Thank you for
Thanks
having
for
me.
coming in. Come back again real soon and say hey to everyone in Morgantown. I guess that's your next stop.
I think
Head to
that's my
Morgantown
next stop.
sometime?
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much, Kim. That's Kim Phelps, Warren RECC. Hang on. We've got your chance to win coming up here on In the Know.
When caring for a family member, their state of health is continually on your mind. And when they're faced with a health concern, you'll do just about anything to make them feel better. Rest assured, their feel better starts right here at Midway Pharmacy. We take our time to get to know all about your family's health history so we can provide you with educated advice. So when someone's counting on you to help them maintain a healthy lifestyle or to overcome that untimely sickness, remember, at Midway Pharmacy.
As a mom, summer is long. So what's my number one mom hack? Splish splashing, thrilling family daycations at Kentucky Kingdom. My little guy and my team making memories together is one of my favorite parts. But the best part, I don't have to plan a thing.
Get big thrills and bigger value. Save up to $15 on tickets at KentuckyKingdom.com.
Buy one, get one for $1 at McDonald's. Or as we like to call it, the can't have just one deal. Mix and match a tasty McDouble sandwich, McChicken, savory 6-piece chicken McNuggets, small fries, or For a limited time, any size frozen drink. Buy one, get one for $1. Now try flavors like frozen Coca-Cola, Fanta Blue Raspberry, or Fanta Wild Cherry. Prices and participation may vary. Valid for item of equal or lesser value. Cannot be combined with any other offer.
Doors take us to summers away or winter adventures and afternoon getaways. Your dedicated Fidelity advisor can help you open those doors by working with you on a comprehensive plan to help you reach your wealth's full potential. Because doors were meant to be opened. Visit fidelity.com/wealth. Investment minimum supply. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC, member NYSE SIPC.
Heart failure, carpal tunnel syndrome, shortness of breath, stomach issues, lower back pain. How does it all add up? If you have heart failure and any of those seemingly unrelated symptoms sound familiar, it's time to talk with your cardiologist and get the full picture. They may add up to transthyretin amyloid cardiomyopathy. ATTR-CM is a rare and underdiagnosed disease. Recognize the signs and discuss them with your doctor soon. Learn more at connectwithyourheart.com. That's connectwithyourheart.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
The Kentucky Department for Community-Based Services is hiring. DCBS invites you to be part of an inclusive team of caring professionals that helps all Kentucky families through a rewarding career in family support or social services. They have job openings in their county offices across the state and offer great benefits like hybrid work schedule, competitive salary, paid holidays, and many opportunities for training and promotions, plus state employee discounts. Go online to chfs.ky.gov and enter DCBS jobs in the search field. It's a new day at DCBS. Join them, an equal opportunity employer MFD.
Hey, it's Shannon the Dude. Summertime is finally here, and as traffic increases, the Kentucky Office of Highway Safety reminds all road users to pay attention and watch out for each other. Following the rules of the road and these simple steps can help save lives. So remember to buckle up every trip, every time. Put the phone down if you're driving, walking, or riding a bike or motorcycle. And safety is a shared responsibility. So enjoy your summer and be safe, Kentucky. A message from the Kentucky Office of Highway Safety.
K105 Weather is brought to you by Future Designs Building Materials on Quarry Road in Litchfield.
Scattered showers and thunderstorms are still in the forecast for this afternoon into the evening. Some of those storms could be on the stronger side with the potential for some damaging winds, hail, and very heavy rain. All of this moves out late tonight, leaving us drier as we head into the weekend. From the Wave News Storm Tracking Team, I'm meteorologist Tawana Andrew.
The 105 Days of Summer is powered by Litchfield Exterminating here on the Twin Lakes Best Mix, K105.
Did you know Minnie Mouse's first name is actually Minerva?
Huh. Minerva.
Minerva. Minnie is a nickname that stuck. Now, either I dreamed this or I think that Mickey's name is Mortimer.
No, that I think that is correct.
That's true?
Yes.
So they were
Oh,
Mortimer
interesting.
and Minerva Mouse that got nicknamed down to Mickey and Minnie.
Yeah, that's too much, right? Like, I'm glad that it's Mickey and Minnie.
But it reminded me, so we have a new dog in the family,
Yeah.
and her name is Gertie.
Yes.
We did not name her. That was her name when she joined our family. But Alea and I have an argument because, well, we argue about several things, TV and television. But on this particular front, there are times when I will refer to Gertie as Gertrude.
Yes.
Because that, I would presume, is her full name, like Minerva is Minnie, Gertrude is Gertie. And so she says her name is not Gertrude. And I was like, well, how do you know? You should ask her and see. So
Well, but she insists upon calling her Gerger, and that drives me nuts. It's one thing to shorten it to Gert,
yeah.
but I hear Gertrude, I hear Gerger, and I'm like, it's Gertie.
It's just Gertie.
It's
and
Gertie.
if you really want to be fancy, it's Gertie May.
Yes,
So
exactly.
it's,
Gertie May.
Like Ellie Mae, I suppose. So-
Well, and I kind of teased it when you were not here that we had, and I have yet to send any photos, so I had promised to do that.
That's all right. We'll get to it in a couple couple of days.
Well,
but-
Josh was here, and so we talked about it being a rescue. So there
Oh
was
sure,
something
yeah.
that came
Anyway,
up
she's
about dogs.
she's good for us, and we're good for her. So
Yes.
that's good. Here's today's water cooler question. It's your chance to win. If you or your household have not won in the last 30 days, you qualify to win 4 Beach Bend tickets. 4 Beach Bend tickets up for grabs today. You can text your answer to 270-259-6000. 21% of us are going to lose this sometime this year. 21% of us are going to lose this sometime this year. 21% are going to lose this sometime this year. I think if I were playing, I would just send it. I'm going to lose it.
Yeah, right? Yes,
you-
my sanity. I'm going to lose it.
You have lost it. Barbie and Oppenheimer, the proper viewing order. It's going to be a huge day for Hollywood. Mission Impossible out. It's going to do well again. Then Barbie and Oppenheimer are opening. Tens of thousands of moviegoers are attempting to do the double header. If you were going to watch Barbie and Oppenheimer on the same day, got any idea which you'd watch, what order you'd watch?
Oh my. I guess Barbie first, not because that's my preference. I'd rather end on what I think would be a better note.
You'd rather end with Barbie? Because
I would
it's your
start
preference?
with Barbie.
Okay.
Because I think I would like to end with Oppenheimer, like on a better note. I think I don't know. Barbie for me, I loved playing Barbies when I was a kid, but
Yeah.
there is no appeal to me in this
Really?
movie.
Interesting.
None
Okay.
whatsoever.
The people who have been saying Ryan Gosling, he's too old to play Ken. I like that Margot Robbie came to his defense and said, I mean, Barbie is in her 60s. Because you know, she debuted in 1959, so even though she's frozen in time, I think I'm with you. I would do Barbie first and then Oppenheimer. I'm more interested in Oppenheimer. Oppenheimer is more of a heavy lift. You know, it's
Yeah.
going to take more energy. Oppenheimer seemed like more of a evening feature film.
Yeah.
Barbie seemed more like a matinee to me.
Yeah.
So if I were
Are
doing
you interested in reading the book?
Barbie,
No.
Oppenheimer,
Yeah.
maybe. I mean, I like biographies. The story. I'm intrigued by the Manhattan Project and what
So-
it did for the world.
Do you know what the hardcover is going for?
Oh, there's no telling.
I think it could be. I think it's $285.
$285 for
Yeah.
the hardback of the Oppenheimer that
The book that the
he
movie is
used
based on.
upon.
Yes.
Okay. I think I can buy a movie ticket for less. I think I can. Lisa Marie Presley, friends, shocked to find out what her cause of death actually was. Bowel obstruction due to recent weight loss surgery. People thought, because she had drug usage issues over the years, they thought that she had some type of relapse. And she had bariatric surgery not long before, and she died as a result of that weight loss surgery that led to a bowel obstruction.
Wow.
So that's, I guess that's better. Yeah, I mean, death is death, and you don't want to see her leave. But knowing that it was something like that, I think
Right.
is redemption a little bit. The Jets will not be cooperative with NFL Films while on Hard Knocks. So you heard me talk recently. Love Hard Knocks. It takes you kind of inside the sport. I don't really like I don't really pay too much attention to the season until the playoffs, but I like kind of the backstories and people trying to make rosters, etc. I enjoy that. It's kind of one of those deals. I would imagine that there are lots of coaches in sports now that have to do interviews with the media during timeouts that they don't like. I would imagine that it also turns into a hassle for professional athletes to be mic'd up and have to worry about what they're saying and doing interviews during games. I get it. They might not like that, but there's so much money in the sport. You got to give on these things to create engagement. If you don't want to let Hard Knocks in your facility, then just get out of the NFL. That was when you joined the league owns the franchises, the league sets the rules, and if the league says Hard Knocks gets to follow you, then Hard Knocks gets to follow you. You don't get to whine because you're Aaron Rodgers and say, well, I don't want cameras.
I mean, if it's a rule, it's a rule.
That's right. The rules are. No, that's not true because there are rules. The rules are the rules. And the WWE legend Iron Sheik, he passed away not long ago in June at 81 years of age. Cardiac arrest is what the Iron Sheik actually passed of. So sorry to hear about the passing, but Iron Sheik back in June. So there are some of your entertainment headlines. The water cooler question again was 20% of us will lose this sometime this year. We'll figure out the winner. 4 tickets to Beach Bend up for grabs today. Plus, we'll have Point to Ponder, Chart Toppers, Pearl of Wisdom, and more coming up here on In the Know.
I can remember a time in my childhood after my mom and dad divorced, when I lived with my dad for a short time. He hadn't been a part of my life for many years, but he tried to be a real father to me after my mom died and I was in foster care. Unfortunately, he didn't know how to connect with me, so he showed me affection the only way he could. He cooked, but I didn't see it quite that way. Hi, this is Jim Daly with Focus on the Family. I'll never forget one Saturday morning as my dad slid some bacon and eggs in front of me. I noticed a little slimy yellow spreading across the plate. "I can't eat this," I said. "The eggs are all runny." Judging by his angry reaction, you would have thought I had physically assaulted him. "You're so ungrateful," he growled and walked off. It took me years to understand that, without trying, I had rejected more than just a plateful of runny eggs. I had rejected his attempt to show me love. That situation taught me to consider other people's perspectives. You see, it's important to look for the motivation behind someone's gift or expression of appreciation. If my son offers to play a game or my wife invites me to sit with her on the couch and talk, it'd be easy to assume they're just looking for something to do to fill the time. But it could also be their way of saying, "I love you and I want to connect with you." And that's why it's important to look beyond the gift. For helpful tips to strengthen your relationships, visit Focus on the Family. I'm Jim Daly.
If you are 65 or older, you know this. Watching your hard-earned dollars fly out the window on healthcare costs is so frustrating. But here's some great news. If you were just notified that your Medicare costs are increasing, a program out there can really help you with your medical bills, and it's worth taking a minute to look into. Medishare 65 Plus. It's not insurance. Members actually say it's better. It's a Christian healthcare community that aligns with your faith and where people encourage and pray for you. And Medishare 65 Plus is a parts A and B, and it fills in the gaps where Medicare stops. You choose any Medicare provider, and you get telehealth access anytime you need it. And this is great too. Unlike health insurance, you can lock in one low monthly price for up to 10 years. So don't get stuck with increasing costs. Call Medishare 65 Plus and find out how much you can save. Call 855-PSALM-11. That's 855-PSALM-11. 855-PSALM-11.
Summertime is finally here. As traffic increases, the Kentucky Office of Highway Safety reminds all road users to pay attention. Watch out for each other. Follow the rules of the road and these simple steps that can help save lives. Remember to buckle up every trip, every time. Put the phone down if you're driving, walking, or riding a bike or motorcycle. Safety is a shared responsibility. Enjoy your summer and be safe, Kentucky. Paid for by the Kentucky Office of Highway Safety.
Do you have heart failure and often hear,
"Those stomach issues ruined your birthday"?
"You're too tired to play catch, Grandpa."
Sweetie, you haven't touched your tools since the carpal tunnel syndrome diagnosis.
If these seemingly unrelated symptoms sound familiar, talk to your cardiologist and ask about transthyretin amyloid cardiomyopathy, or ATTR-CM, a rare and underdiagnosed disease that gets worse over time. Learn more at connecttoyourheart.com. That's connecttoyourheart.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Doors take us to summers away or winter adventures and afternoon getaways. Your dedicated Fidelity advisor can help you open those doors by working with you on a comprehensive plan to help you reach your wealth's full potential, because doors were meant to be opened. Visit fidelity.com/wealth. Investment minimum supply. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC, member NYSE SIPC.
I see you, but you're gone. Telephone the doctor, I'm not okay. I go to the bottom of the bottle to fill this empty heart up. 1,000 proof, don't change the truth. I doubt it, but
MB's Point to Ponder for today. Was someone just being clever when they put a B in the word subtle?
Maybe.
Then they created the word subtle. They wrote S-U-T-L-E. Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Know what would be subtle? Let's drop a B in there and see what people do with that. Yeah, that could happen. All right, a couple of things to get to before we get to the chart toppers for the day. One, an emergency slide fell from a plane and hit a Chicago home. So, you know, the emergency slides that pop out when emergency landing, they inflate, and those things are big when they get inflated. One somehow fell out of an airplane and hit a home in Chicago. Now,
was there damage?
yes, there was, but it would have
to keep it.
What's what I wondered myself. It would have been serendipitous, though, if it just could have avoided hitting the house.
Just landed in the yard.
And then the kids looked out there and went,
Right?
bounce house. Right? Score.
Christmas early.
Can we go out and play with it? And then this headline puzzled me a little bit, kind of made me wonder if this is a fair or foul. Wife livid, husband washes cat's water bowl in kitchen sink. Is that out of bounds?
Not to me, but
I mean, I thought this was probably okay. I don't know that I would want them washing out the litter box in the kitchen sink,
well,
but
no.
but a water bowl, I think that's okay.
I wouldn't.
right?
I mean, maybe she washed it with the other dishes instead of. Now, I would not put a cat, dog, water bowl, food bowl in. If I were hand washing dishes, I would not put that in with our dishes.
Right.
But if I were just washing it solo, I don't know what's wrong with it. I mean, I don't know.
There are other places you can do that, but maybe it's the only place they could. But I think he's in the clear. I think he's okay for washing that. And again, it was the water bowl.
Right.
Now, really, whether it makes any difference whether it's water bowl or food bowl, from a bacteria or
Right,
an illness
it's all the
standpoint,
same.
it's all the same. On television this evening, Alea would prefer I say TV. Generation Gap on ABC. The Chase is on ABC. That's the season 3 finale. On PBS, the season 2 finale of Before We Die. And then check your local listings. I think it's overnight tonight. The FIFA Women's World Cup gets underway. If you're just really sold out for the World Cup. From Australia, Nigeria will play Canada, New Zealand will play Norway, and Australia will play Ireland. Again, because of the time change, that's shifted to where a lot of that activity is going to. I told old YTTV, I told it to record the women's matches. So I'm Team USA no matter what. I like it when the USA beats up on the rest of the world. So even if it's soccer, I'm going to be all in on the World Cup. Today's highlight in history, this date in 1969. I wish they would bring back the vuvuzelas. Back when they had the few years ago, where they had I think they had it on the continent of Africa. And the vuvuzelas, you could hear them in the crowd.
You just like to say that word.
I think so.
Or make that sound.
Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin became the first men to walk on the moon this date in 1969. In 1977, a flash flood hit Johnstown, Pennsylvania, killing more than 80 people and causing $350 million worth of damage. United States and Cuba restored full diplomatic relations after more than 5 decades of frosty relations rooted in the Cold War. Back in 2015. I would have told you in 2015, I thought that I would have been to Cuba before now.
Yeah, me too.
Now, we circled Cuba for several days one time.
Yes, we did.
But
yes, we did.
We just kind of swam laps off the coast of Cuba.
I actually met someone that is from Cuba, not just a couple weeks ago.
Interesting.
I forgot to say about that.
Well, I'm kind of surprised that after 8 years of being able to go to Cuba, that we've not been.
Yeah,
now,
me
the
too.
fact that you can throw a pandemic right in the middle of it is probably a contributor. Birthdays today, T.G. Shepard is 79, Kim Carnes is 78, Carlos Santana is 76, the singer Vitamin C is 54, Omar Epps is 50, Elliot Yamin is 45, Giselle Bundchen is 43, and Washington Nationals pitcher Steven Strasburg is 35 today. Gone but not forgotten. Sir Edmund Hillary, 1919. He's given credit as being the first explorer, and that would be true. I don't think he's the first person to climb Mount Everest. I think he's the first explorer to climb
Okay.
Mount Everest.
Yeah.
Because the people of that area, the people that served as his Sherpas, they had already climbed it.
Right.
And he was just the person that got the credit. All right, chart toppers. We're going to go all the way back. Well, we're going to try to go all the way back to 1946. We don't often get back into the 40s, but we'll jump back there for Old Blue Eyes. They say it's wonderful. Thank you, Frank.
Moving along.
Let's go to the 1950s, one that gets featured quite often, 1955. In fact, we just talked about it last week. Bill Haley and his Comets, not Bill Haley and the Comets. Theme from Happy Days was on the American Graffiti soundtrack. If you think about 1950s music, I bet that one comes to mind very quickly because it was made famous in Happy Days.
Yeah. Well, and it's fun.
It is fun because if you know how to count, you can participate. 1964, the Four Seasons were number one with Ragdoll. All right, let's go to 1973, Three Dog Night. I don't know why I love this song so much.
Wash away my troubles, wash away my pain.
I think you accuse me of just liking to say words.
Yeah.
Like Vuvuzela, saying the word Shambhala is just fun as well.
You probably like doing that part too.
Hard not to sing along with that. Let's go to 1982. Johnny Cougar, number one.
When I was a young boy, sipping with those young boy ways.
Yeah, that's not that one. Not a big fan.
Let's go to 1991. Bryan Adams from the Robin Hood Prince of Thieves soundtrack.
Yeah. I mean, I know the words to it and everybody loved it, but I'm kind of like,
There's better Bryan Adams music.
Yes, absolutely.
By the way, I think one of the better overlooked duets of all time is Bryan Adams, Tina Turner, It's Only Love.
Huh, okay.
That is a tremendous duet. 23 years ago today, NSYNC was number one.
Are you going to tell me the answer?
Oh, I didn't tell the answer, did I?
No.
It was, so glad you reminded me of that.
21% of people will lose
Yeah,
this.
credit
this
card
year.
or debit card.
Oh,
credit card or
I had
debit card. And I,
keys.
Scott,
Okay.
I was going to scroll through.
We'll figure it out.
We have several
Okay,
to draw
yeah,
from.
we'll figure it out.
Okay, all right.
We'll let you all know.
It looks like there's. I thought I glanced and saw 7 correct answers.
Okay. All right.
So, but I also saw phone. Phone was in there a lot.
Okay.
Phone, not phone.
I had job and keys.
I think 89% of people would lose it.
Yeah, that was your answer.
Waking Up in Vegas, number one, 14 years ago today. KP. All right, MB's Prolo Wisdom for today. Thanks for rowing the boat with me here the
Oh,
last
yeah,
hour.
you're welcome.
Sam's doing news this week, so we've kind of been.
My oar's a little bit slow, but that's okay.
That's all right.
We're not turning circles at least.
You know, the thing is, we get to see more of the lake.
Yes,
Like
we do.
when we willy-nilly from bank to bank, you see all of the lake rather than just going in a straight line. MB's Pearl of Wisdom for today: be a good person, but don't waste your time proving it.
Ooh.
Be a good person, but don't waste your time proving it. MB's Pearl of Wisdom for today. Remember, God loves you, and I do too. If you don't know Jesus, let me know, and I'll introduce you. Look forward to seeing you back here tomorrow for another edition of our show. For Beej, I'm MB, and now you're in the know.
Powering through the Twin Lakes with the best mix of music, news, weather, and fun. If it's in the